It's a fire picture. That was a pretty double picture. Sounds familiar. No. That was not last.
It was this year.
Yeah.
It's this year. After that,
Oh, change. Oh, yeah.
that was like a hectic period, like protest.
You are not here يا حسين.
Tacoma is too far يا شيخ. I'm here يا شيخ.
Yes, test. What is the sound over here? Check يا شباب. I think it should be test.
I can hear you يا شيخ.
Okay, I'm just checking if it is the sound is also recorded on YouTube or not.
That fire picture. That was a pretty double picture.
I would assume it is working fine on YouTube. I hope so. Can someone check last time يا شباب? We forgot to click go live. Good?
Good.
So this one last time you will find no recordings. Can all of you see the screen يا شباب? This one is not blocking the view for you, أبا جبنة or anyone? Okay, يا بنات. You want to get a little bit closer يا بنات? You are far away from me. شباب, get the boys a little bit up يا بنات. Can you get a little bit closer, please? Little bit يا بنات over here. Leave some distance, but I want to get the girls here, please. Move. Get everyone over here يا بنات. I just want to make sure. Where are the speakers? Probably we knocked it Yes, Brandon. No. Electricity somewhere close by. One of the big charge me. Please me. Find another spot. This is what is taken. More. Yes, inside quite a lot of people. Yes, what? Yes. This is a bad position for the camera. It has to be the other way around because the light source is coming from here. Am I correct? For those who are kind of engineers, that you see, yeah, this is better because the light is coming on my face. If I put it over here, the light is going to be coming in the camera and the picture is going to be dark. Can you hear me well on Zoom? Can you hear me well over there, Banat? Yeah. Feel free to get closer, Banat, over here so that I want to make sure that Aida is always in my line of sight, so she's not making any troubles while we are in the halaqa. Okay. Yeah, alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah. Who will start the recitation, ya shabab? أو تقول لو أن الله هداني لكنت من المتقين. يا شباب, who will get started? Who is going to be my first reciter? أو تقول لو أن الله هداني لكنت من المتقين. يلا إياس.
No, wait. No, what?
You raised up your hand.
No.
You were trying to raise up the hand, Yasir. He answered the quiz, by the way. Am I correct, Yasir? Good job.
So that means I didn't answer the quiz.
You recite here.
No.
And from memory, Elias. أو تقول لو أن الله هداني. Can you close your eyes and start reciting?
Oh,
You made already a party, Elias. Elias memorized the Quran and big party and invited people. Show us. Yalla. It's working. It's on and it is working. Keep reciting.
okay.
You know what Noor used to do whenever is Noor here? Did he come back? When Noor was reciting to me whenever he was young, he used to do like this, as if he is focusing in the Quran recitation. Do like this. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. And then the Quran is inside. For sure, I know he's reciting now, he's not reciting at all. Now I miss the time when Noor was reciting and cheating. Yeah.
أو تقول لو أن الله هداني لكنت من المتقين. أو تقول حين ترى العذاب لو أن لي كرة فأكون من المحسنين.
بلى قد جاءتك آياتي فكذبت بها واستكبرت وكنت من الكافرين ويوم القيامة ترى الذين كذبوا ويوم القيامة ترى الذين كذبوا على الله وجوههم مسودة أليس في جهنم مثوى للمتكبرين وينجي الله الذين اتقوا بمفازتهم لا يمسهم السوء ولا هم يحزنون الله خالق كل شيء وهو على كل شيء وكيل As I listen to this ayah, in Morocco, they were presenting Welsh. So I'm used to شيء وكيل.
Yes.
وهو على كل شيء
لا بس هي انا حافظ اتليست حركه.
وهو على كل شيء وكيل له مقاليد السماوات والأرض والذين كفروا بآيات الله أولئك هم الخاسرون قل أفغير الله تأمروني أعبد أيها الجاهلون ولقد أوحي إليك وإلى الذين من قبلك لئن أشركت ليحبطن عملك ولتكونن من الخاسرين.
Here is actually this ayah, just something that you learn يا شباب over here whenever you are reciting the Quran. ولقد أوحي إليك وإلى الذين من قبلك لئن أشركت ليحبطن عملك. Can you translate this, Elias?
And it was revealed.
Get the microphone close, please.
And it was revealed to you and to the people who were before you that if you committed shirk, i.e. associated partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your actions would be destroyed.
Okay, so do you think that there was a possibility that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would commit shirk?
No.
So why the ayah was revealed? Allah is telling the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لَإِنْ أَشْرَكْتَ, if you commit shirk, لَيَحْبَطَنَّ عَمَلُكَ, your amal, your deeds are going to be invalidated. Was there even a possibility that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would commit shirk?
No, I think it's like the same, like in the ayah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and if you lie, what has been revealed to you, we're going to cut off your wrist.
Yes. So we need to understand that whenever Allah is addressing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sometimes Allah is addressing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and only the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sometimes when Allah is addressing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is addressing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the ummah. Sometimes when Allah is addressing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah is addressing the ummah only, but the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would never commit shirk. He's a messenger, he's Rasul.
ولقد أوحي إليك وإلى الذين من قبلك لئن أشركت ليحبطن عملك ولتكونن من الخاسرين بل الله فاعبد وكن من الشاكرين وما قدروا الله حق قدره والأرض جميعا قبضته يوم القيامة والسماوات مطويات بيمينه سبحانه وتعالى عما يشركون.
بارك الله فيك شيخ إلياس, جزاك الله خيرا. Actually walking back and forth, this is when I was memorizing. I used to be going like this, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And whenever I get engaged in the mood, the speed starts going faster. And I used whenever I was younger, memorizing, keep going like this and making those U-turns faster and faster and faster for hours till I memorize whatever I was memorizing. Usually I'm never able to memorize if I'm sitting down. And if I'm reviewing, it's hard for me also to review when I'm sitting down, I sleep. So I remember when I was young and I was memorizing Quran or reviewing Quran or even studying, I do everything while I'm standing or while I'm walking. Even studying, holding the book and just going back and forth while holding the book. This is how I used to study when I was young. But I had the ability to keep doing this for all the day long. If you sit down, this is how you finish your studies quickly. Some people, they sit on their table, they keep studying for 20 hours, and the output is nothing or very small. But whenever you are awake and you are moving and you make sure you are awake and every sentence it comes to the brain, you can study in 1 hour and you can get a lot in your brain. It is not how much you sit on your table studying, it is how much you are awake, how much you are focusing in whatever you are doing. Even Mariamu, whenever we are coming over here by the van, did you try to find the correlation between mistakes in the recitation and changing the highways? Try to keep an eye. Because really, Quran memorization, it is not only how good you memorize, it is how much you are focusing while you are reciting. One of Hafsur, who's my next reciter, ya shabab? Everyone is asking to read Abdullah.
Actually, no, yes.
Now we answer to the quiz. Yalla Abdullah. ففزع. ونفخ فصاعقة. What is ففزع? But the other one not ونفخ. ينفخ. ويوم ينفخ في الصور ففزع من في السماوات ومن في الأرض إلا من شاء الله وكل أتوه داخرين. وش سورة؟ Yes. بارك الله فيك. يلا keep going. تسرع عبد الله.
ونفخ في الصور فصعق من في السماوات ومن في الأرض إلا من شاء الله ثم نفخ فيه أخرى فإذا هم قيام ينظرون وأشرقت الأرض بنور ربها ووضع الكتاب وجيء بالنبيين والشهداء وقضي بينهم بالحق وهم لا يظلمون ووفيت كل نفس ما عملت وهو أعلم بما يفعلون وثيق الذين كفروا إلى جهنم زمرا حتى إذا جاء فتحت أبوابها وقال لهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم رسل منكم يتلون عليكم آيات ربكم يقصون عليكم يتلون عليكم. Over here يقصون or يتلون. Over here is يتلون. Where is يقصون? يقصون عليكم آيات وينذرونكم لقاء يومكم هذا قالوا شهدنا. وفاض go for it. بارك الله فيك. Good job. Omar, actually he destroyed your image for today, Abdullah. I'm sorry, he destroyed your image for today. Yeah, keep going, Abdullah. يقصون عليكم آيات ربكم وينذرونكم آيات ربكم وينذرونكم لقاء يومكم هذا قالوا بلى ولكن حقت كلمة العذاب على الكافرين. حقت without the tag. حقت كلمة العذاب. حق instead of حقت everywhere in the Quran. What is the question? حق and حق. Can you give me all the places? Here حقت will stand. Where is حق? I think حق in Nahr. What else? Okay. You do not qualify to be Sheikh Makrat. According to the standards of the old days. يلا. فبئس مثوى المتكبرين. فلا بئس مثوى المتكبرين. فبئس فلا بئس. فلا بئس. Not فبئس. ها؟ No. يلا keep going. تقول دوس يا شباب، دوس هو نبي حفاظ. يلا keep going شيخ عبد الله.
وسيق الذين اتقوا ربهم إلى الجنة زمرا حتى إذا جاءوها وفتحت أبوابها وقال لهم خزنتها سلام عليكم طبتم فادخلوها خالدين.
Did you notice يا شباب, for those who know Arabic, whenever Allah was talking about الذين كفروا, when they were standing in front of the hellfire, فتحت أبوابها. Its doors, the doors of the hellfire were open. So whenever they were standing in front of the hellfire, فتحت أبوابها. The doors was opened, or the doors were opened. Whenever it came with the believers, وفتحت أبوابها. There is an additional wa. There is an additional and. So let me describe it in English or try to translate it somehow. Whenever the disbelievers, they were in front of the hellfire, its doors were opened. But for the Jannah, whenever the people standing in front of Jannah, and فتحت أبوابها, and its doors, the doors of Jannah, were open. So whenever it was describing the hellfire, فتحت أبوابها without the and, without the wow. But for the Jannah, وفتحت أبوابها with the and. Why? Yes, Elias. Why? Yes, Mariamu.
They opened once for the
Not really. Yeah, you're getting close. In the hellfire, it opens up immediately to grab them and trash them inside the hellfire. So as soon as the disbelievers are standing in front of the hellfire, the doors open up immediately and grabs them into the punishment. But for the believers, whenever they go to Jannah and the doors, they do not open immediately. It is an enjoyment to see the doors of Jannah opening up. Tan, 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 tan. Slowly the doors are opening for Jannah. This is by itself an enjoyment and excitement. So that you understand the idea? It is opening slowly and you see where you are getting inside. Sounds good? Yes, Elias.
So when it's فتحت with a shadda.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
فتحت, it was open. فتحت, this shadda is for extra emphasize. You see, فتحت, which means whenever I say, for example, let me describe it. فتحت, the windows, means the windows were open. But فتحت, I'm giving extra emphasis, like they were opened widely everywhere. All windows are open widely. Make sense? Okay. Yalla, keep going.
وقال الحمد لله الذي صدقنا وعده وأورثنا الأرض نتبوأ من الجنة حيث نشاء فنعم أجر العاملين. وترى الملائكة حافين من حول العرش يسبحون بحمد ربهم وقضي بينهم بالحق وقيل الحمد لله رب العالمين.
بارك الله فيك, جزاك الله خيرا. طيب, do you want to recite or do you want to ask question? You want to recite? ها؟ لا يا غافر بقى, حامين. Is the sound good or do you need to increase the volume? Okay.
تنزيل الكتاب من الله العزيز العليم غافل الذنب وقابل التوب شديد العقاب بالقول لا إله إلا هو إليه المصير ما يجادل في آيات الله إلا الذين كفروا فلا يغرك تقلبهم في البلاد كذبت قبلهم قوم نوح والأحزاب من بعدهم وهمت كل أمة برسولهم ليأخذوه وجادلوا بالباطل ليظهروا به الحق فأخذتهم فكيف كان
لا no again من أول
وجادلوا بالباطل ليظهروا به الحق فأخذتهم فكيف كان عقاب وكذلك حقت كلمة
another حقت over here for your knowledge keep recording
وكذلك حقت كلمة ربك على الذين كفروا أنهم أصحاب النار الذين يحملون العرش ومن حوله يسبحون بحمد ربهم ويؤمنون به ويستغفرون للذين آمنوا ربنا وسعت كل شيء رحمة وعلما فاغفر للذين تابوا واتبعوا سبيلك وقهم عذاب الجحيم.
What does it mean الذين يحملون العرش الذين يحملون العرش those who carry the throne of Allah which are the angels الذين يحملون العرش those who carry the throne of Allah ومن حوله and those who are around the throne what are they doing يسبحون بحمد ربهم making تسبيح to Allah ويؤمنون به they believe in Allah ويستغفرون للذين آمنوا imagine يا شباب the angels who are carrying the throne of Allah making dua for you oh Allah forgive them their dua is ربنا oh our Lord وسعت كل شيء رحمة وعلما you encompassed everything in mercy and knowledge فاغفر للذين تابوا واتبعوا سبيلك وقهم عذاب الجحيم oh Allah forgive those who repented to you they followed your way and protect them from the punishment of الجحيم of the fire ربنا وأدخلهم and read the rest of the dua but here is the شباب today I'm addressing some of the حفاظ who do not look like Ilyas who are non-Ilyas حفاظ now what came before here what came before here يا شباب وكذلك حقت كلمة ربك the word of Allah the true word of Allah became mandatory on the believers that they are أصحاب النار they are the people of the hellfire correct now we understand the two ayah وكذلك حقت كلمة ربك على الذين كفروا أنهم أصحاب النار and the word of Allah on the disbelievers became حق became truth became mandatory that they are going to be the dwellers of the hellfire so far so good let me recite these two ayahs and let me know what did I do wrong in my recitation okay وكذلك حقت كلمة ربك على الذين كفروا أنهم أصحاب النار الذين يحملون العرش what's wrong over here yes yes so here is the شباب whenever you are reciting you need to make sense of whatever you are reading this one الذين يحملون those who carry the throne if you connect it you say أصحاب النار the people of the hellfire who are carrying the throne of Allah again let me connect it أصحاب النار الذين يحملون العرش if you connect these two ayahs together for sure you can connect ayahs I can recite الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين it is okay to connect ayahs together although the sunnah it is better to stop at the end of each ayah this is the sunnah but it is permissible to connect ayahs together but over here if you connect these ayahs together, your sheikh is going to beat you up. Why? Because you changed the meaning. You changed the meaning. Ashabun nar, if you connect the dwellers of the hellfire who are carrying the throne of Allah. Do you see the problem if we connect these ayahs together? It makes sense? Huh? You got it, ya shabab? Here is the question. And this is how people who are Sheikh Maqra'a ya Umar are tested. How many alladhina in Al-Quran you cannot connect it with the ayah before? This is how, ya Sheikh Ilyas, people used to live with the Quran. How many ayahs that start with alladhina, and this alladhina is connected to whatever comes after, not whatever coming before it? How many of them? And give me all those ayahs, but in order, please. Are we gonna, shabab, in one day have people who live in the Quran, whenever we ask them this question, they will say, yes, those are the 7 places, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are we gonna reach that level, Sheikh Omar? Or are you gonna be like Ilyas? Got my point? And you, my young ladies, are we gonna have teachers of the Quran at that level? Yes or no? Are we gonna get another Sa'd or not? Do you know Sa'd? If you know Sa'd, raise up your hand. Banat, if you know Sa'd, raise up your hand. You know Sa'd, you know Sa'd, yeah. She was one of the mashayikh of Sheikh Nabil. Ask Sheikh Nabil about her, yeah, inshallah. Right, sounds good? Before we move forward, ya shabab. Okay, there is also something I want to share with you. It is beauty, wallah, ya shabab, to talk about the Quran. This is something that I have been struggling with for almost 2 years. This one. What is this one, ya shabab, that I'm carrying? It is basically 2 types of the Quran. It is handwritten Quran, 2 copies of the handwritten Quran. There is a professor working with me at the UW Tacoma, and he's from the people of Tacoma. There was an open house a few years back. This is probably before the COVID. So this is, I've been going with this for a couple of years, and I gave up and I'm returning them back today in the masjid. There was an open house, and a non-Muslim neighbor came to the masjid, and he said, and I have bought this copy of the Quran from Mauritania. And if you do not know, Mauritania is one of the countries that have full huffaz, many huffaz. Probably it is one of the countries that have most of the huffaz. I want to make sure يعني ايه. So he bought this copy. It is handwritten. And then whenever that man, he gave it here in the masjid, people in the masjid, they say, what is the historical value of this Quran? And it is handwritten. Let me show it to you. First, let me put it in front of the camera for the people who are on Zoom. I don't know if they can see it or not. This is how it looks like. This is a good question. And even the handwriting style is different from the people of the East. The people of the West, they have different handwriting style. And this is all handwritten. This is not printed. Can you see it, ya shabab? And you can see it. There is some even red ink as the old convention. Can you see that? All handwritten Quran, Moroccan or style of writing in the West. And there are 2 copies. And actually, it needs some expertise to decide when it was written. And the people here at the masjid, they were not sure. So is it something historical? And the problem, there is no index, there is nothing. It's just someone who was writing this Quran by hand. And then he sold the copy. You don't know if he needed money or that was his job or whatever. So the professor who gave it to me, he said, can we give it to a museum? We don't know what is the historical value of this Quran. There is good news and bad news. The bad news, I didn't find, or I was not connected to an expert. Yes, Aida. Go for it. If what?
Great bench, great letters, say I was gonna go it.
No, if you write in red,
Wearing bright red. I guess clothes wearing like a bright red shirt.
no. Where did you hear this from?
There's something about bright red, right? Like wearing all bright red.
There is something. Yes, I hear this, but يعني إيه? What does that do with this, Aid? Oh, no, it's not really. It's good for now. Anyway, Aid. For the bad news, and I have been talking to different organizations to have a look at this copy of the Quran. None wanted to have a look at this copy, which is bad. But the good news, and see how much the people, they care for the Quran. We were telling them, put it as part of your museum. We talked to some museum. They said, before we take any copy of the Quran in our museum, we need to review it letter by letter. Fatha, kasra, damma, shadda, letter by letter, before we accept it. And we do not have the resources to do this for any copy of the Quran. So they didn't want to take it from me because they said, we don't know someone who wrote this Quran, and we don't know who is the sheikh who approved him to write the Quran. Without having this context and without reviewing letter by letter, we cannot take this copy. So I failed in my mission to find a home for this Quran. It has been in my office here at the university for a few years. And then now I'm bringing it back to the masjid. Take your amana, find someone else. I tried for sure. I cannot claim يعني ايه I am the one who would review the Quran. To review the Quran, you need someone like Sheikh Al-Husari in the old days, or Sheikh Al-Ma'sarawi right now, so that you authenticate the Quran. And it is not Hafs. It is the narration of Qalun, as you said, this is the Maghrib or Mauritania. And even we need someone to let us know how old this Quran is. Some people who are experts, how the Arabic style of writing has changed over time. Now, for example, do you know, for example, the small waw, the small ya, and those letters? In the old days, they were written in red. They were written in red. It is just when printing, at some point in time, it was not easy to print in colors. They made those red colors or red colored letters, they made it small. At some point in time, printing was only black and white at some point in time. Yes, Mariam. Can you, where is the mic? Yeah, can you turn it again? Because it was open and you looks like you're playing. Okay, that's good. Sounds good. There are some people, subhanallah, who really care for the Quran. They dedicate their lives for the Quran. They write the Quran by hand. For me, even I was trying to read for some pages. I did not find myself a single mistake in these two copies. But I cannot claim that I reviewed the entire Quran or I'm even qualified to review the Quran. But it was good experience to see some of the copies of the Quran from the old days written by hand. How old they are, I don't know. I didn't find anyone to help me with this, which is bad. But on the good side, people are very conservative. I cannot accept a copy from you unless what? We review it letter by letter. Maybe it was written by someone like Elias and he made few mistakes in the middle. We cannot accept this as Quran. Do you know that even some of the non-Muslims, some of the doubts about Islam, they found somewhere, to my memory, in Yemen, some books, Quran is written, and there was something written wrong and erased. And on top of it is written the correct Quran. Do you imagine? And this is old books. So let me explain. They found some old books where the ayah is written wrong, and then it is crossed out or kind of erased, and on top it is written So the non-Muslims, they say, see how the Quran has changed over time, and we respond, yes, in Yemen, in Sana'a. And for sure, it was clear that it was a student of Quran like Elias. He was learning Quran and he made mistake, and the sheikh kind of slapped him and said, this is wrong, change it. And then the student erased it and wrote it on top the correct way. You see the point? So the non-Muslim, they say, no, they are altering the Quran over here. Yes, Aida. Quick, Aida.
I'm just want to know, how did we know that back then? What if the Quran was right and when was wrong?
Quran and whenever I say, for example, whenever I say the chain of narration, that person got it from his sheikh, all the way to Hafs, then Asim, then the Tabi'een or companion and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Quran was not transmitted by one person. Whenever I say Hafs and Asim, this does not mean Hafs is the only one who was reciting like this. It is thousands of people were reciting like Hafs, but he was the representative reciter who was the most knowledgeable. So this recitation at that level from Hafs and Asim. So Quran, from the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam all the way to us, it is transmitted in writing and in recitation. And keep in mind, the people who are writing the Quran and the people who are reciting the Quran, those people dedicated their lives. You see, for me, I'm considered nothing compared to them. And whenever someone makes a mistake in the Quran, you will find me yelling and saying, no, stop, wrong. Those people, they dedicated their lives for the Quran. Make sense? Okay. Let's get started. يعني هو يا شباب والله I'd love that we get some people who are dedicated for the Quran, just for the writing of the Quran or for the recitation of the Quran. People in the old days, يا شباب, they dedicated their lives to Quran and Allah gave them the full victory, the full dignity. We are not going to be spend day and night, يا شباب, with the Quran, and more specifically the Quran school. Okay, can we reach this level at a point in time? Why not, ya shabab? You can do it. And even most of the great imams were non-Arab. Bukhari was non-Arab. Muslim was non-Arab. Do not tell me I do not know Arabic. Those people were non-Arab and they learned the Arabic and they became the best, ya shabab. Type the quiz. There was, ya shabab, some drop in the quiz answers. Okay, boys went from 23 till 21 and the girls went from 15 all the way to 13. Okay, admins, and there are some admins who need to remind themselves and they need to remind the girls to do the quiz. Okay, How come we get only 13 girls? Mariamu, how we got only 13 girls? We could get 14. Correct? Okay. And this quiz is about the media. Who watched this video, Shabab, that I have been reminding you for 2 weeks? Okay. We got few more hands. So the reminder worked. But still, there are many people who are useless. I don't know. There was someone. Where is Anas is not here, correct? He was telling me last time I met him at the masjid, he wanna write an article, how not to be useless, how to make sure you shoot high, and he's not here today. Because I want to solve this problem. It is a video that you can, it is half an hour khutbah. You could watch at any time. But again, newsletter, we have some good click count. Maybe Snack Man is doing his job again. I did it. Well, I didn't get the chance to investigate behind Snack Man, but we got this 368 clicks on the newsletter. When are we going to post the coming one? Tomorrow? Okay, Shabab. Make sure. What is the theme? Or surprise? Surprise. Okay. There was one additional article that got 20 likes and 0 dislikes. 20 likes and 0 dislikes. That's weird. To the boys. One of the girls is giving an advice to the boys. Basically, if you would like to get married, make sure you get a shower at least once every 2 weeks. This is what I understood. This is the message I got. Boys, can you make drama about this article?
No.
Make drama. We should not post this article. I'm gonna resign. Anyway, what is the drama, Shabab? And it got 20 likes between boys and girls, by the way. Yes, Omar. The shower in winter or in the summer? On average, yeah. So that was an advice from a girl to the boys, what a girl would be looking at whenever she gets married, or and mainly please, Shabab, read this article. I'm joking, okay? She's asking for a shower every 2 weeks at least. But at most, it can be shower every 14 days or 13 days. Read the article. Wallah, the article is valuable. And there is another article. 2 of the boys who are about to get married, and they are making an article what they are looking for in a girl. And really, I'm asking the review team, after we post the 2 articles and people read them, we can have a discussion. There is a lot of insights from this article. Even one of the insights, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it mandatory for a girl to get married is she approves, and her wali, his guardian, her father, to approve. And if you read this article, you will understand why Allah made the approval of marriage for women to be done by the father or the guardian, whoever he is, and the girl. So the girl must approve. She cannot get married to someone who smells bad. She cannot get married to someone who looks disgusting while he is eating. But at the same time, as you read, Muhammad Mahfouz wrote a comment over here. Nothing in the article is looking at the job of the man, how much money he's making. Anyway, we need to do some discussion. We need to do some discussion on this article. And even you, Shabab, if you read my comment, please read this article before you get married. Wallah, you should be grateful to get this advice from one of the Tamkeen girls, because you may not be able to accept this advice from your wife. If your advice gives you this message, I don't know. If you accept it, that's good, alhamdulillah. And this is why I'm telling the girls, those advices are good as long as you do not give them to your husband. Unless your husband is unless you trust your husband. Anyway, unless you trust your husband, he's not gonna punch you for the face if you give him such an advice. But anyway, Inshallah, once we post the second article, we have a Zoom meeting dedicated for this discussion, inshallah. This article by Anonymous reached 460. Snack man, is it you again? Well, I didn't get the time. I was very short in time. I didn't get the time to check. Did you do it again?
I read it all 460 times.
Like the article in 3 minutes, you read the article 185 times. Actually, you were lucky you were not there last week. You were lucky. Now, يعني everyone cool down. بس إيه 460. I'll still need to do my analysis. How many of the males, how many of the females read the article? The author is anonymous. But there has been a suggestion, ya shabab, going on by our professional computer science folks. Actually, the girls were able to figure who is the author from the writing style. The boys, what they're trying to do is to make analysis, compare the writing, do some machine learning algorithm that can compare the writing style in the quiz and the article. And then you see, can we really identify the author or not? Sounds good? Because the article that's coming from the boys, I don't know even who they are. I don't know who submitted. They are two boys, but they made a new email address that does not reveal their information and give us the article. فتراي يا شباب to do this machine learning algorithm, do analysis of all quiz answers. You will see similarity in the writing style of one of the girls in those quiz answers and the article, and then you can try to make guesses, but if you make the guesses, do not tell anybody. Respect the privacy of the girl who sees Tamkeen boys as smelling bad, okay? And she sees the boys as what? They're eating horribly, filling their plate and keep eating a lot. Looks like, Shabab, some of you were bad examples. Maybe Ilyas, Anas.
Who's down bad? Who's down bad?
Who is looking at you while you are scooping in your plate? Let her look in her own plate. Why is she looking in your plate?
Against that person.
The boy. Yeah, I remember the first time I was really in Shilan camp. Whenever we got Anas, he keeps instead of us walking, put anything in the trash. Anas is close by. Eat this, Anas. Enough joking. This article is valuable, ya shabab. This article is valuable. I heard this from many girls. If you do not pay attention to how you look like, and if you do not do like the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, take care of your hair like me. See my pictures 30 years ago, ya shabab. Look at my, take care of your beard. Make sure that you smell nice. This is, ya shabab, wallahi, very important. Sometimes, and more specifically, from boys who pay attention to their school or to their work and they drop the ball on the way they look like. No, it is from the sunnah that you smell nice, you look nice, you take care of your hair, you take care of the way you are looking. And this is for the young boys. And here is another advice for the girls, ya banat. Many times, after 10, 15, 20 years of marriage, okay, the man and the woman are taking care of the kids and none of them is taking care of themselves, okay? Like, for example, my wife is married to Yasin, not to me. But I want to understand, you want to make sure after 10, 15, 20 years of marriage, whenever you see your husband is really working day and night for you, for your kids, for the family, make sure you take care of your husband. He will drop the ball on himself easily. If he has some time, he will not go and buy some creams and whatever and new clothes. Sometimes, I think Brother Qabhawi, he sent a picture of when we make Quran Halaqa 5 years ago. This is the same exact blue jacket that Diya was taking from me in this picture. we were actually didn't have a place to do the halaqa. So we're in the open air, and the weather was very cold. That was in December, I guess, or something like this, sitting in a park, having the halaqa. Whenever I give halaqa, I am heated up. I do not need my jacket. Diya was freezing. I gave him my blue jacket, which I'm still using till today, and it is in the van right now. Many times, ya banat, after 15, because Diya gave him the barakah for the after 20 years of marriage, make sure you are still taking care of your husband. Make sure that you are buying some shampoo, some perfumes for your husband, or they will look like me. Okay? If you do not take care of your husbands after 20 years of marriage and he's busy with the life, he will look like me. Okay? I hope I'm not smelling that bad. I hope. Bye. Khadija, did you yell at Jannat because she did not submit a code? Did she respond back? Okay. Think of a good punishment. طيب يا شباب. يلا. That was all good chat. I hope we are يعني ايه. Now يا شباب, I want to get started with few questions. 3 major questions. 2 questions يا شباب are very, very, very important and related to each other. And the third question is about Imam Bukhari. Let me read the first question. Let me read the second question. And then I want to get your input. And then I'm going to be talking. So, what is the consequence of parents who oppress their children? So Tamkeener is asking this question. What is the consequence for parents who oppress their children? Of course, most parents always want the best for their children. But in some cases, the child is really facing injustice and lots of harm from their parents. Did we get the first question? It looks like one of you, Shabab, was yelled at by his parents, or maybe it is something more than this. So the Tamkeener is asking, what is the consequence of parents who oppress their children? Now, Shabab, this question, talking to you as children who have parents, but really you are going to be very soon, sooner than you can ever imagine, will be parents of kids. And I want to make sure your kids do not submit such a question in the future. Before anything, I just want to go to the second question. Assalamu alaikum. I just had a question about discipline and how to do it the right way. This generation is honestly so hard to be patient with. I don't know if this question is coming from a parent or from a Tamkeen admin who is kind of feeling bad or struggling with this generation. Yeah. And if you check the quiz answers, who start always the answer by Salamu alaikum. Writing this, you can guess. This is how, Shabab, I figure out who submits the question. Look at the quiz answers, who start Salamu alaikum. And even, it can be more than one girl, by the way. It can be more than one girl. Start the quiz answer by Salamu alaikum, and end of the quiz answer Salamu alaikum. The same way the article started and the question started by Salamu alaikum. This is why without with the message being anonymous, because I know people, I can have guesses. Salamu alaikum. I just had a question about discipline and how to do it the right way. And as I said, it can be coming from a parent, it can be coming from a Tamkeener. Usually parents may not even know that we have open your heart question. Or people who care for this generation. Maybe a girl from for sure. This question is 2 pages, and this can never come from a boy. Boys do not know how to write more than 2 lines, except a few, يعني, whenever they have a point. But even you can see يعني, the style of a boy writing and a girl writing. A boy is writing while he's running. But the girl يعني, keeps circling for some time. Anyway, I just had a question about discipline and how to do it the right way. This generation is honestly so hard to be patient with. Seriously. Talking about you, Shabab. Now, most of the younger Tamkeeners are going through the phase of, I'm cool, but I'm going to try to act like I'm not trying too hard to be cool. Yeah. You can understand this better than me. Because that is just how cool I am. It is extremely obvious, cringe, and especially hard to have them show respect. They will be so irredeemably disrespectful. I truly wonder how they were raised, because personally, I would feel so much guilt and sadness for saying the things they say and do to someone older as well. Garbage, what I can say. Knowing you are just hurting the other person. It is such a competition on how to get someone mad so they feel better about themselves. And I am so sick of it. Sometimes I try to be lenient, then I try to be cool, then I try to be strict, and it never seems to work with this horrible generation. When you are too strict, they whine about it. When you are lenient, they take that as an invitation to whatever they want. And when you are cool, they begin to get comfortable and say weird things around you. How should I go about disciplining and advising the youth without them saying you're low-key pressed for real, cry about it?
Told me that I would put it that
I know you're going to deal it with it. طيب يا شباب. For sure يا شباب, I have a lot of thought in my mind, and this is wallahi very important. If we get the lessons over here يا شباب, you can be saving yourself. We know يا شباب, every time Allah says worship Allah, Allah combines worshiping Allah with what? With being good to your parents. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. So every time Allah is talking about worshiping Him, He said بِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. But please, والله يا شباب, if your parents are mad at you, Allah will not be pleased with you. Keep this in mind. Shabab, let me say something that just came to my mind right now. Do you know Surah Al-A'raf? Al-A'raf, the heights. This surah is talking, or part of the surah, about Al-A'raf. A'raf is a place between the Jannah and the hellfire. Those the people whose bad deeds are equal to their good deeds are going to stand on Al-A'raf. Okay? And they're going to stand on Al-A'raf for a long time. For sure, they do not know that they are the people of Al-A'raf. They are just standing, waiting for the result. You know, whenever you are waiting for the result of an exam that is going to change your life, pass or fail, and you are waiting for the result, those people, their good deeds and bad deeds are the same. So they are put on Al-A'raf, the heights, somewhere between the hellfire and the Jannah. They look at the people of the hellfire and they get scared. They look at the people of Jannah and they hope. Those people on Al-A'raf, one tafsir, it says, the people of Al-A'raf are the people whose good deeds are equal to their bad deeds. This is why they're going to be on Al-A'raf. Their punishment on the day of judgment is they say on Al-A'raf getting scared. Then Allah will take them to Jannah. But some people say, the people of Al-A'raf are some people who even made jihad for the sake of Allah. Is there any better deed than doing jihad for the sake of Allah? Nothing better than this. But they displeased their mom. So they are held on Al-A'raf till their moms forgive them. Got the point? So although they have done jihad for the sake of Allah, they are not allowed to enter Jannah. Till what? Till their mom would be pleased with them. If you want to understand how critical it is, how you need to be nice to your parents. And again, Shabab, it is not going to be too long till you are parents. And whatever Allah asked you to do to your parents, Allah asked your kids to do to you if you raise them as good Muslim. Make sense? Same for the girls, ya banat. We know the hadith that if your husband sleeps while he is displeased with you, angels are going to stay overnight cursing you. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put some people under other people. Some people are supposed to listen and obey to other people. Some people are supposed to take care of other people as an act of worship to Allah. Allah made the rules and assigned those rules to us, and everything, ya shabab, we are doing is nothing but an act of obedience to Allah. We don't want to be like Iblis. Iblis was asked by Allah to do what? Make sujood to Adam. He was arrogant and he said what? No. Although he was commanded to make sujood to Adam. And his sujood to Adam is an act of obedience to whom? To Allah. Same thing, ya shabab. Do not be like Iblis. Whenever Allah commanded us to be nice to our parents, what do we tell Allah? Sami'na wa ata'na, to Allah. Whenever Allah commands us to listen to those who are in charge of our matters, as long as they are not commanding us to do something haram, we do what? Sami'na wa ata'na. We do not say, no, I'm leaving. Same thing for the girls, ya banat. You have to do what? Do the same thing with your husbands, inshallah. Sounds good? Type. Now, we see this question. So, all this introduction to tell you those two questions are very important. And I put these two questions together so that we address the problem from the two sides. Some of the kids, they are having problems with their parents, and some of the Tamkeeners who are now in the mood of being parents are asking the question about this horrible generation. I want to listen to you, Shabab, what we do before I share what I have. Let's get a few minutes listening to you. And feel free to answer any of these two questions. Who would like to get started? So the first, do you know the first question? What are the consequences of parents oppressing their children? And the second question, what do we do with this horrible garbage generation? Who would like to get started, ya shabab? Yes, Elias.
I feel like the person that wrote that question, they did it when they were like angry at the moment. Because, I mean, obviously it's natural, like your mom yelled at you or something. You're angry at the moment, I mean, obviously. But then after that, you kind of just like move on with it. It's like, you know, it is what it is. I mean, and if you happen to just have like a really, really evil Cinderella stepmom type mom, right? Like it is what it is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala today, you pick up the blood, that's an you're not gonna die. It's not that bad. And even if you die, like Jesus, like you know, it is what it is. You know,
It's gonna be a few years and then you're gonna be on your own.
Yeah, exactly, right. And at the end of the day, like you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and don't remember like big W, like when Allah subhanahu when the Prophet said in the hadith, if somebody oppresses you, right, you can make dua at that moment because it's like that hijab, of that dua to you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'm gonna aid this dua, right? Whether it's gonna be this life or the next life. You could be either like petty about it and make dua against your parents,
No way.
or you could be smart about it and make dua to Allah, oh Allah, guide my parents. Or you can be like, make dua for yourself, Allah, get me into such university, or
Well, like, get me other parents.
right? There's so many things you can do, but again, like I believe this was made at the heat of just being mad, just stay mad. It's like, it's basically just a nonsense question if you ask me.
Abdullah.
I think for the first question, I think the fact that whoever wrote that question felt like they're being oppressed actually means that like they're not, because I think the biggest form of oppression that a parent can do is to neglect their child. Like other than neglecting, like there's not really much other than the parents like just pushing their children too much. But that's obviously for your own good. So, and for the second question, I think whoever asked is just totally pet for real. But other than that, dealing with like this generation, I feel that you need to become kind of their friend, but at the same time that have respect for you. I mean, that's the only way you can actually like try to help them in any way. Like if you're too authoritative of a figure, they're never gonna look at you. And if you're like too much of a friend, they're just gonna treat you like just another friend. So you need to find that middle ground.
Barakallah, Abdullah. Aida. I think your mom will like the answer for the second question. Maybe she is the one who wrote the question for the second question. Maybe it was your mom. Yeah, go ahead, Aida. Which person, for the first question or for the second question? The first one. Listen يا شباب.
And what are they gonna do? The last thing, like, the worst thing I'm gonna do is hit you 10 times. You're not gonna die.
Yeah, you are still alive. Yeah, they're gonna hit you 10 times and you will survive. It happened to us many times whenever we were young. That was the default for us when we were young. Yalla Aqila, please. He's angry or not angry? Not angry, yeah. So what? Okay, so that person is just what? He's really oppressed. So if he's not angry, or if she is not angry, this means what? This means the parents are really oppressing. It can happen. No. Yes, definitely. Yes. Okay. So here, actually, this is point. Maybe really the parents are oppressing. Maybe. Why not? And the man is not angry or the girl is not angry, but really they are facing oppression. And it is not just a kid who was hit 10 times by the parents and he's just fussing at Tamkeen, open your heart. Who else? Anyone else? Yes, Omar.
So for this question, I think I like what the previous sister just said. That's a good point. And but I also think it's like for some reason kids these days, if you touch them or do this and that, then all of a sudden, oh no, you're abusing me and this and that. Like in schools and also in like some media, your parents punishing you, like all of a sudden they're now a villain and they're doing this because they hate you and this and that. And no one actually understands like what they're doing it for. Like if your parents punish you, it's not like, okay, what did I do wrong? Why did they punish me? It's like, oh, they must hate me, they must not like me. And then they go into these really weird and dark places. And I don't know why they go there, but it's just something that has started to happen. And which is, just the default that now people think, oh, parents must hate me, they don't like me, this and that. So I think for some people, especially younger generation, we need to reframe how we look at the situation. And then for the other situation, I found that, I feel like when it comes to like, a child acting out, it depends if they're always acting like this, or, it's just a one-time thing. So if it's like, you could say it's part of their personality, oh, it's like something bad part of them, then I feel like only a parent can really fix that. They're the only people that can really shape and mold you into that better person to get you out of there. And then if it's a one-time thing, then I think you might have that sort of influence that could remove that from the person. But yeah.
Barakallah. طيب, we have, yalla, let's get Yasmin from the Zoom. Go ahead, Yasmin.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, I kind of wanted to say like, okay, I personally feel like parents, they're gonna do wrong things sometimes, and maybe they might do an injustice without really realizing it, or they might know that what they're doing is wrong. And let's say that you as a child, you're doing everything right, but your parents are still, mad about something. It could be deen related, it could be something else related. Even if you're doing everything right, find something else to do right. Like keep doing things righter, if that makes sense. Like literally try to be the best child, cater to your parents, everything. Like maybe this will work, maybe this won't work, but if a parent is doing injustice to their child, it's obviously because maybe they feel like their child isn't good enough, they're not like the other kids, something like that. But I feel like just as the child, let's say your parents is doing the injustice, don't have it in your heart like, oh, my parent is wrong. Maybe they are wrong, but don't convince yourself that that's the case. Convince yourself that you are the one that needs to be better, because without them, you wouldn't really be here, right? So I really think that you should just convince yourself that you are kind of doing something wrong. Maybe it's not being good enough of a child, because maybe they as a child struggled a lot and they just don't understand. Maybe they might not understand how you feel because maybe their parents didn't treat them in a good way either. But I feel like you should just take it and be a little bit tougher and not be much of a crybaby about it. Like, no offense, but like, also, I just feel like maybe you should just take it into yourself and be like, okay, I need to be a better child, do something extra, be an extra amazing child, cater to your parents, everything. That's it.
Barakallah fika, Yasmin. Jazakallah khaira. طيب, Aida, last time, how we want to move on?
If someone comes up to you and you tell them, okay, don't do this, do this, and they go and do it, they're gonna get mad at them, right? So why shouldn't your parents get mad at you for dumb stuff you do?
Yeah.
They do.
Correct. If we get mad at you, Aida, over here, why your parents do not get mad at you? That would be very natural. طيب يا شباب, let me mention, let me mention a few points here يا شباب, and then I can hear your voice again. Let me start by a disclaimer, okay? Or let me start this way يا شباب. You want to understand how many hands, and I'm going to tell you even some of my personal stories with my own parents, and this actually, my personal story shaped my personality a lot when I was young, but I'll keep this a little bit. Let me tell you something, ya shabab, and this is a lesson for you when you become parents. This is wallah shabab something. If you listen to me and if you understand this, you are going to be good parents. Because the parents who do not have this advice in their minds, I call them bad parents. I call them, they are causing damage to their kids and to the community. How many hands do a typical person have? How many hands do I have? Okay. And these two hands, they are made this way to be facing each other, correct? So if I want to change the position of someone, if I want to change the position of someone, he is standing in a wrong position. How would I do this? If I had one hand, imagine he is here and I want to move him just a little bit. If I have one hand and I am pushing him, stand there, man. He's gonna go far away. Sounds good. But the value of the other hand is whenever I'm pushing him, I can catch him with the other hand and bring him back to the right position. Make sense? Let's do it again. Ready? If I have one hand and he is standing in the wrong position and I need to fix his position. Now you are standing where? In the wrong position. And I need to fix his position. Please, if you understand this example, you are going to be good parents. I have to change his position. If I have one hand, he will go far away. And he may never, you see, I grabbed him with what? With the second hand. This is you. This is a Tamkeener. This is the sheikh. This is the parents. Let me repeat this again. You want to understand, shabab, in your age, you can be doing something wrong. Or expectation in your age that you may be doing something wrong. And when I was in your age, there are some of the stuff that are wrong and horrible and crazy and garbage I was doing. The expectation that the man who is over here, the Tamkeener, is doing something wrong. Me as a sheikh, my job is not to put him over here. My job is to move him against his desire. His desire is to go wrong. But my job as a sheikh is to do what? To push him against his desires. Sounds good? But I am one hand. Maybe I am tough on him because he want to go to do his desires. Keep moving this direction. He want to go to do his desires. And I am the sheikh. I have to be tough on him. And I have to push him hard and yell at him and be tough at him at some point in time. If the parents are useless, he may go far away and he may never come again to me. If he goes to his parents and he says, the sheikh was tough, the sheikh whatever, or even make fake excuses, or the halaqa is not good, or whatever, you know how they can tell their parents. If the parents are useless and bad, and the mom will get by, you know the moms, the sheikh he yelled at you, Habibi, don't go again to the halaqa, Habibi, stay home, Habibi. This is bad mom. This is a bad mom. The parents need to be the other hand. Whenever I'm tough on him to take him against his desire, the parents have to be the other hand. Go back to your sheikh and listen and obey to your sheikh so that you learn. Do you understand the role of the sheikh and the role of the parents? We need two hands to adjust his position. Keep this in mind, ya shabab. And the same way, I am asking the parents to help me, not to say garbage stuff about me. Some garbage parents are saying, I teach my kids at home to filter what the sheikh is saying. Those are garbage parents, pure garbage parents. The right parent is the one who would say what? Listen to your sheikh, learn from your sheikh. So the same way, whenever I'm asking the parents whenever I am tough on the kids, that they be the other hand and bring them back to me, so me and the parents can correct the kids. I don't want to be a garbage sheikh. Whenever the parents are tough, come back over here. Where did you go? Come back again. Whenever the parents are tough on some of the kids, I have to be the other hand to bring him back to his parents. Make sense? You want to understand that would be the healthy relationship between the sheikh and the parents. There are some parents, some fathers in the community, may Allah reward them the best. They used to tell me explicitly, if someone beats up my kids for their own benefit, I would go and thank him. And he was giving me the green light to do whatever I do to his kids. And even at some point in time, I yelled at his daughter, and his daughter was bad, and she told me, no, you should not be, because I'm gonna go and talk to my father. I said, okay, go and talk to your father and let me know what he says. And then she never came back to me again. Many years later, and she continued to come to Tamkeen. Many years later, when I asked her, or whenever it was open that I was asked her, what did your father say? She told me, yeah, my father yelled at me and he said, listen and obey to your sheikh. This is the value, Shabab, when you are a good father and mother for sure. But here I'm stressing the value of the father, and I will let you know why I want to stress the value of the father over here. Make sense? That brother in the community, may Allah reward him the best. He knew how to teach his kids. You have to go and listen and obey and stay with the sheikh, even if the sheikh disciplines, yells at you, punishes you. May Allah reward him. Another incident from my own personal life. Listen, Shabab, because you are going to be parents. You are going to be parents at some point in time, and I want to make sure you are not bad parents. One of my daughters, and I was driving them to the Sunday school. Driving them to the Sunday school, and if I'm the driver, they have to be out on time, and we have to be in front of the school 5 to 10 minutes before the school starts. Correct, Evanat? We have to be there before. One of my girls, she didn't come out of the house on a Sunday when I was in the car. I went inside and I asked my wife why she is not here. And my wife told me, no, she is not going to the Sunday school today. Why she is not going? My wife told me, it looks like the teacher, there is problem with the teacher is targeting her and whatever, but so she does not feel good at the school. And I heard the story. You see, what is the position of the mom? My girl doesn't want to go to the Sunday school because the teacher was tough on her. So, Habibti, stay at home. For me as a father, no. I told my wife, call the teacher. She was a female teacher. So I asked my wife to call the teacher. You see the decision? It is not my girl. I don't want to go to school. Khalas, Habibti, stay home. Don't go to school. No. I asked my wife, call the teacher. We heard the story from the teacher, which was a different story. We talked to our girl. Our girl continued to go back to the Sunday school and kept going to the Sunday school for years. Make sense? You see how the sheikh or the teacher and the parents should be working together. It is not one garbage kid coming, I do not like the sheikh, whatever, and the mom, okay, Habibi, stay home, you don't have to go. No, this is bad parenting. As I said, the sheikh and the parents are two hands. If I'm trying to move him against his desires, and even if I'm tough on him and I'm pushing him, now it comes the job of the parents. What are the parents gonna do? Are they gonna do how the sheikh yells at you? You are a leader, ya bit. You don't go again. You stay home. Or is the sheikh has to listen and obey to you? If he gives you the leadership over here, he has to listen. Is this the type of parent? Or is the parent is gonna say, You go and listen and obey to your sheikh. What type of parent are you planning to do? And here, again, ya shabab, I'm telling you this so that whenever you are parents, you keep this image in your mind, please. And more specifically for the, that's what damage to Tamkeen, not recently, it has been across the lifetime of Tamkeen. If the sheikh is tough, you are the other hand to bring the Tamkeener or your kids back to the sheikh for his own benefit. Make sense? And shabab, one of the problems I face in our community, it is horrible problem, and now I'm talking to my young men. Do not be useless fathers. Do not let your women take the front line. Whenever a problem happens in Tamkeen, you see who is talking on the group? Moms. And those women, they have no real men to control them, unfortunately. They keep saying whatever comes to their mind, whatever comes to their heart, it just comes out on the chat group and increases fitna. I want to make sure, ya shabab, you as fathers, do not leave the kids to your wives 100%. Even watch what your wives are saying in masjids, on WhatsApp groups. You are responsible for everything your wives are saying. Be real men. Whenever there was problems in Tamkeen recently, garbage coming out of women, and there are no real men. Maybe the men are not, and the husbands are not aware of what is being said. So again, ya shabab, you have seen the story between me and my daughter, and how my wife emotionally, if my daughter doesn't want to go to the Sunday school, stay at home. This is the emotions of the mom. There has to be the role of the father, where I said, no, she will not stay at home. First, you call the teacher. That has a shabab to be, for sure, may Allah bless you with a wise woman. But you want to understand, emotions would kick in quickly for women. And this is where we have to have men who are responsible for their wives. One of the major problems of our community, your fathers may not be even aware that you are in Tamkeen. Many of the fathers, they are aware of nothing, and they are leaving everything to moms, and this is wrong. Whenever there is a problem, the father has to be fully aware of what is going on and make the decision. Make sense, ya shabab? If you really want to save your future kids, advice number one, the sheikh and the parents are working together as two hands to shift the kids against their desire. We lost many girls from Tamkeen because of the bad advice they take from their moms. Whenever you are moms, ya banat, make sure you are not giving the wrong advice to your kids. If your sons or if your daughters come to you and say, the sheikh was tough on me, what are you going to do? Stay, habibi, at home. The sheikh is tough on my sweetheart. Stay home. No, go back to the sheikh. You go apologize for your sheikh, sit down and learn. The way, ya shabab, we were raised. The way we were raised. We go to school or we go to the masjid. The teacher over there, it was very common that he would beat us up with the stick. For sure, yani, he was not causing that much, yani, but it was physical punishment whenever we were young. Do you know what is the biggest concern whenever we are punished by our teachers? Do you know what is the biggest concern whenever my teacher would punish me when I was in school, and he would punish me with the stick, punishment? Do you know what was my biggest concern? That my father knew. That was my biggest concern. I am okay to be beaten up by the teacher as long as my father doesn't know. Because if my father knows that the teacher was mad at me, the punishment of my dad will be double, triple the time of my teacher. You understand يا شباب the difference between good parents and bad parents? Bad parents يا بنات, if you trust the sheikh or the teacher, and the teacher or the sheikh is disciplining your kids and being tough on them for their benefit, don't say, stay home, habibi. The teacher yelled at my sweetheart. No, you would punish your kids so that they go and they continue to learn from the sheikh. Leaving the sheikh is not an option. Leaving the sheikh and staying home was not an option. My parents would never allow this. Go and learn from your sheikh. My wife told me something when she was young. She told me that she went to a sheikh to memorize the Quran. But the sheikh was stubborn, which is the typical sheikhs. So she decided to stay home and not to go to the sheikh. But then she told me, after 2-3 years, I regretted. The girls who were at my age, who were going with me to the sheikh, who continued to go to the sheikh, now the mashallah hafiz of that many juz, and I was useless. I wish I continued to be at the sheikh. I wish I was continued to be yelled at. I regret that I left the sheikh. I'm giving you, ya banat and ya shabab, all this information so that you keep this in mind. Maybe I may not be able to change the current community, but I am putting the hope on you. So you are good parents, and the coming generation is going to be a good generation. You and the sheikh, you have to work together. Leaving the sheikh is not an option. Having a soccer game and leaving the sheikh is not an option. I have a soccer game, I'm dropping the halaqa. You are not going to be questioned in your grave or in front of Allah of how many goals you scored, but you are going to be questioned for your deen. Coming back to my point, if you ask me this question, what are the consequences for parents who are oppressing their children? My first position is not to go against your parents. Your parents are one hand, I am the other hand. All whatever I said over here, it was against the bad parents who are not serving the second hand, who are helping me as the first hand. Those parents, I call them bad parents. But generally speaking, I will never encourage you to go against your parents. The same way I'm asking parents, whenever I yell at the kids, they bring the kids closer to me. Be the second hand. Whenever your parents yell at you, I have to be the hand to bring you closer to your parents. This is my job. Do you know, Shabab, something I mentioned many times in Tamkeen? And this is something you may be too young to understand this, but you will understand this whenever you are parents. Your parents may come and yell at you and punish you and hit you. You will go cry for half an hour and then you will go to sleep. But your parents will remain awake for the entire night thinking of you. And I know what I mean. And I'm not only talking about myself, I talked to enough parents. So they may come punish you, whatever the punishment is, you will go, Hamza, you will go cry for half an hour and then you will have deep sleep. But your parents will not sleep. They care for you. Many times, Shabab, I never tell you you are too young. I deal with you as adults, as people who can move mountains, but you are still too young to understand how much your parents love and care for you. Make sense? I'm going to give you some examples. Let me start with something, Shabab, where I would consider this is an oppression of parents. It is an oppression. So now I want to give examples of how oppression can come from parents, examples, and how you deal with that. One type of oppression, ya shabab, is that the mom or the dad are not fair. They are not fair with their kids. Here there is a beautiful hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. An-Nu'man ibn Bashir, one of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was married to a great woman, Sahabiya. So that woman, and you understand how women would think, okay? The name of the woman, by the way, her name is Amra bint Rawaha. Amra bint Rawaha. This is her name. I'm not sure if you heard about her or not, but she is the sister of Abdullah ibn Rawaha. If you know Abdullah ibn Rawaha. Do you know Abdullah ibn Rawaha? When did he die, Abdullah ibn Rawaha? Battle of Mu'tah. This is his sister. So that woman kept telling her husband, could you make a gift to my son? Could you make a gift to my son? Could you make a gift to my son? And you know, whenever women start asking and asking and asking and asking for something for her son, hey, could you please give that much money to my son? So she kept asking her husband, An-Nu'man ibn Bashir, to give something special for her son. And he had other kids from other women. Then, with all the pressure coming from his wife, An-Nu'man ibn Bashir made the gift to his son. The woman, the great female companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. At that moment, she said, no, till we ask the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. See how the woman changed her position? So she was making the pressure on her husband to make a gift for her own son. Whenever the man approved, after the pressure, after repeating the request, the woman said, let's ask the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asking, can An-Nu'man ibn Bashir give a gift to one of his sons? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked the question, did you make the same gift to all your kids? An-Nu'man ibn Bashir said no. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded, لا تشهدني على جور, do not make me witness oppression or something wrong. Make sense? So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not approve An-Nu'man ibn Bashir to give a gift for one of the kids without being fair to all kids. This is a type of oppression from parents if they are not treating their kids equally. For sure, the love is something, but treatment is something else. When you have 4 wives, you cannot love the 4 of them at the same level, but you have to treat all of them with fairness. You like this, correct? Okay. Same thing. Whenever you have multiple kids, you have to treat them with fairness. If you do not treat them with fairness, it becomes what? Oppression. And you want to understand, ya shabab, if I'm giving gift to my kids, I need to give the boy the same amount as the girl. Again, you want to understand, ya shabab, if I die, my inheritance, according to the Shara of Allah, the male gets double the female. This is after I die from my inheritance. But if I am alive and I'm giving each one of them a gift, I need to give the male the same amount as the female. Do not say I'm going to give the boy double the girl. This is wrong. Sounds good? So this is one type of oppression from the parents. Another type of oppression, ya shabab, from the parents is that they do not teach their kids as-salah, and they do not punish them by hitting at the age of 10. This is according to the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. According to the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, علموا الصبي الصلاة لسبع. Teach the boy as-salah whenever he is 7 years old. وَضْرِبُوهُ عَلَيْهَا ابن 10 سنين. And beat him up, hit him, punish him physically whenever he is at the age of 10. You know the article of the right to be beaten up? It was referencing that hadith. It was not only the man and the wife, but even the kids and their parents. And even it was written in the article, if the dad is not punishing the kids for salah according to the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, again, this is how we would consider oppression from the parents. Is that I do not teach my kids a salah. I do not punish them if they do not pray. This is oppression, okay? And here is the shabab, I remember my sheikh, he was saying, علموا الصبي, teach the boy. What about the girls? Yes, Aida. Quick يا بنات. What again? Got your question. So here is the point. If I'm giving, sometimes the needs of the boys are different from the needs of the girls, okay? It does not have to be the same amount of money, but it has to be covering the same need. For example, for the clothing of the boy is easier, you know? Give him any t-shirt, he doesn't care, he doesn't know, he doesn't even know what he's dressed in. But the girls, no, it can be more expensive. So I don't have to say, if I give you $10, you have to have $10. As long as it is in the same range and covering the same level of being dressed, that's okay. The other question? So it's 10, you are 12, whatever. Again, it is a dress. If there is a little, you cannot make 10 and 10. And if it is 10 and 10, it may not be hard for the girl. So again, he got a dress, or he was kind of got some clothes, you got some clothes. They don't have to be exactly the same amount of money. Sounds good? Type. Yes, here even my sheikh, he was saying for beating up for the salah, my sheikh was his opinion, this is for the boys only. He said, do not beat up the girls. You see how my sheikh was nice with the girls? He said, make sure that you talk to the girls more and you do not punish them physically, but the boys, you can beat them up. Some people say, no, the hadith, it applies to both of them, boys and girls. But here in the hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, teach a boy salah at the age of 7 and punish him and darb in Arabic. You know what darb Arabic شو بس we want to translate Sheikh Abdullah the word darb at the age of 10. So those are some of the places where I would consider oppression. This is really the oppression of the parents to their kids if they do not do those rights. The first right on the kids from their parents is to choose a good mom. This is a shabab. The first right on you of your kids on you is to choose a good mom for them. The rights of the kids starts before you get married. You need to choose a good mom for them. This is number one. Whenever they are born, you need to give them beautiful names like Snack Man Abdul Salam, beautiful names. You have to be fair with them. You have to raise them on the deen and teach them the deen. Teach them the adab. This is very important. And we had a big series on the adab. Adab with the elders, adab with the sheikh, adab with the neighbors, adab with Allah, adab with the prophets. To make dua for them. To give them the good advice, not the bad advice many moms are giving to their kids, okay? Give them the right advice. And you as dads, you have to control the moms whenever they go emotional and they do something wrong and they are making damage to their kids and to the community. Don't be like useless dads in our community. Punishing them when needed. This is part of the right on you. And this is going to lead us to the coming question. And you need to spend on them to cover their needs. And I'm going to give more information over here. There is one thing, ya shabab, who can read this in Arabic? This is a well-known proverb or saying that we say back home. If you understand this sentence, ya shabab, it is going to change your impression from your parents. Can anyone read it? Here is, let me give you an example. Yes, go Aida. You can read it? Okay, who can read? Yes, Mariam. ولا ضحكني وضحك الناس عليا. Translate بقى مريمو. Translation is not gonna be easy.
It's basically saying, yeah, but I don't want to translate it, but it's basically referring to someone who made you cry and cried for you instead of making you laugh and made the people laugh about you.
So here is the saying says, I would appreciate someone who would make me cry and he would cry for me. Not the one who would make me laugh and make people laugh on me. Let me tell you something, ya shabab. I know sometimes it hurts whenever your parents, for example, come to you and say you are overweight. But they do not say it this way. I know how parents are very professional in giving you this sentence in a provoking way. Yes or no? Yes or no? So if someone, for example, is overweight, his parents are not going to go and give him the advice in a nice way. The parents are going to give provoking sentences day and night to make sure he works to fix his body. Did you get the point? You want to understand, ya shabab, the heat inside the hearts of the parents for you. Whatever comes, and these provoking sentences, they come and say, yeah, there are no clothes fitting in you anymore. They are going to keep throwing those kind of nuclear bombs here and there, trying to move you. And wallahi, I know how much it hurts. And some of the parents, they do not understand how much it hurts. I know that it hurts a lot. And I know, Shabab, you can be very sensitive for this word. I know. But what you need to understand, Shabab, there is heat in the heart of your parents for you. Your parents want to make sure that you are in the best shape. So if you hear this sentence, ya Shabab, from your parents, I know it hurts. I'm not denying it hurts. I'm not denying you are going to feel bad. But you want to understand, ya Shabab, the emotions in the hearts of your parents. They want to see you in shape. They want to see you stop eating whatever you see in front of you. So here is ya Shabab. I would appreciate the one who would make me cry and he would cry for me, not the one who would make me laugh and make everyone else laugh at me. If they are tough on you and if they give you the bad words, no claws are fitting in you anymore, I know they can make you feel bad. They will make you cry, but they will be crying for you. Or they will say, you look good. Love yourself the way you are. Be the best of yourself. This is all garbage, by the way. And they will make you happy. They will make you laugh, but everyone else is going to be laughing at you. Make sense? So listen to your parents. I'm not saying that the parents are saying it in the right way. And maybe with some wisdom, ya Shabab, from the parents, things can be better. But you want to understand, ya Shabab, your parents are still human beings who love you, and you need to appreciate, ya Shabab, who they are. Give me a second, Aida. I want to finish this without interruption, please. Now, here is, ya Shabab, I want to tell you very important story from my own life. And listen to this story carefully, ya Shabab, because it changes the way I view my parents. When I was at the high school, there is, during the high school time, and more specifically back home, you do not have that much pressure over here. But really, the high school is very critical time in our lives. Given the grades you are going to get in the high school, it is going to decide on what college you are going to join, and then it can change your future career. Here يا شباب in this country many people can make alhamdulillah good money in different careers. Back home most of the careers you are going to end up begging for money. Unless you get a really good career, you are going to end up begging for money. Even if you get good career, you may end up being a beggar. For this high school time, it was very critical يا شباب. For me, and now we have a doctor here who can give the medical advice. For me يا شباب, when I was young, did you think that I get good grade or bad grades? This is how you see me? This is how you see me? Okay. And by the way, back home, they didn't care about the privacy of students. So whenever we get the grades, they are posted in paper sheets on the wall. So you can understand who got the highest score, who got the lowest score. No one cared for privacy. All the grades are put on the wall, the name and the grade in each course and the total grade. And I really, Shabab, just to give you, I'm going to give you something from my life. Hopefully, you can get a lesson. When I was in elementary school, on the first year and second year of elementary school, I was one of the worst students. I was one of the worst students. Even I remember some of the teachers. See the oppression of the teachers over there. I remember one of the teachers said about me, I don't want to see the face of that student in class anymore. You can imagine how bad I was in terms of how horrible my grades are. But as I got older, still in elementary, there was a teacher. Or actually, I'd rather say I was in elementary. My father was a teacher, but on that year, my father moved to the same school I am in, but at the high school level. So he started to have connection and to be known in the school. Based on some personal connections, looks like one of my teachers when I was almost at the end of my elementary school. Looks like she was looking for a favor from my dad or whatever. So she started to praise me when I was in the class. I'm still the same idiot student, the same bad student, the same student who gets the lowest grade in the class. I want to see you, Shabab, how you can be turning someone from one position to another. So imagine someone who's getting the bad grades, the lowest grades in all subjects in elementary school, till I was getting close to the end of the elementary school. A teacher started to praise me, and she's talking about me in a different way for the first time in my life. And she's talking about me that I am the best student. And I tasted how good it is to be the best student. You see how I changed the Shabab in my school? I tasted how good to be recognized in the class. And I liked this. So even it started by people praising me for nothing other she needs a favor from my father here or there. I loved it. And I started to work hard. Whenever I got into the middle school, from the middle school all the way to the high school, my grades were the highest among my classmates. You understand where I'm coming from, ya Shabab? So here is the first lesson, ya Shabab. I want you to learn. Whenever you are dealing with your kids or dealing with some people, one way is show the people that they are useless, they are bad, they are doing nothing, so they understand their problems. And then tell them, you can move mountains. Make them feel victory. Make them feel how valuable they are. If they taste the sweetness of how to be at the top of your class and to be regarded as the best, they will never go back. This is sweetness, ya Shabab. Whenever you taste, I am the best, it is going to be hard to go back. Now, this is one lesson on the side. When I was at the high school, and I told you from middle school all the way to the high school, I am the highest score in my class. But in the high school, I had a problem. All my teachers were coming to me and putting the pressure on me. You have to get the highest score across the country of Egypt. You have to be ranked #1. And that was what I was hearing from all my teachers. You have to be ranked 1, not on our school, but you have to be according to the entire Egypt. That gave me some pressure. At the beginning of the year, something happened to me, doctor. I was studying. Then I was not able to breathe. I had difficulty in breathing. Okay? For sure, I asked my dad, whatever, they took me and we ran to the doctor. The doctor, the first doctor I went to, he asked me, yeah, you're in high school. For sure, he made all the exam. And then he said, okay, yeah, looks like it is, you have some kind of an anxiety. Let me give you some depression medication. I did not believe in that doctor. And I told my dad, that doctor is crazy. Depression? What depression? I'm good. I feel okay. I'm not crying. I want to go back and study. This doctor is crazy. And I convinced my dad that what depression? I'm a real man. What depression I can get? Let me leave depression for the women or for those kind of fragile people. What depression? I really, dad, I cannot breathe. And I remember I took my dad in a circle on all the doctors of the heart and the lung and whatever. And after a few months, whenever all doctors gave me tons of medications, I was convinced that the first doctor is good. And whenever I started taking the medication of the first doctor, I started to feel good and was able to breathe again. So during that time, Shabab, I was still young and I was not able to breathe. And this actually feels bad. You cannot breathe. You feel that you are about to die. You cannot breathe. At that time, Shabab, you want to understand how I was looking at my parents. And this is the main message I'm trying to deliver. This is the main message I'm trying to deliver. And I'm making all this story to conclude the answer that Ilyas mentioned at the very beginning. When I was not able to breathe, what do? I go and run at my parents. I run at my dad and my mom, asking them, do something. I cannot breathe. I am dying. I thought of my mom and dad. Those are my mom and my dad. They can do everything. They can do the magic. And really, they were not able to do much. Doctors, they took me to doctors. But the medication is not working. They did whatever they can, but they cannot help. They cannot help. And for me at that time, every time I cannot breathe, I run to my mom and dad. Do something. I'm choking. Where do I go? To my mom and to my dad. Someone gave my dad the advice. Whenever I go to him making these complaints, my dad got the advice from one of his friends that he would yell back at me. And he would tell me, be a man. What do you mean you cannot breathe? To scare me so that I do not complain again. At that time, I felt a lot of oppression from my parents. They do not feel what I feel. You imagine, Shabab, the feeling, and this is really, I think this is the feeling that I remembered when I read the question. Sometimes the parents do not feel what I feel. And they're trying to solve the problem from their point of view. For me, Shabab, while I was in this tough situation and I cannot breathe and I feel that I'm about to die, you start thinking in a different way. And that was the lesson, Shabab, that I want to teach you this. I started to think, Why am I asking my parents for something that they cannot do? Why I keep running to my parents? Now I know that my parents love me. I know that they cannot help me much. I know that the more I'm complaining to them, things get worse. I make them overreact. I make them anxious and they respond back to me in a way that is harmful. The decision was at this time, Shabab. First, I'm grateful that my parents raised me up till this point in time and covering my need. May Allah reward them the best. I would appreciate that. Two, now I'm getting old. I have to be the one taking care of myself. Not every time I run to my parents. If I have a problem, I need to solve the problem myself. I do not need to go back and complain to them. And even you can check with my mom. Whenever I left her and travel or whatever, ask her. For all the years I came here and I was away from her, I never told her of one single problem I had in my life. Although I may be having tons of problems in my life, but I would never tell my mom anything. Why? She's going to feel bad. You are the man. Handle your problems. Don't be crazy and go and tell your brothers to your moms, ya shabab, okay? If needs to be, tell your dad. So the first point, ya shabab, what are the conclusions again? I am grateful to my parents that they gave birth to me and they raised me up when I was child. Two, now I have to be the real man. I have to be the real man and take care of myself and take care of my problems. If I need to run and seek help, that would be from Allah. That would not be from my parents. The point, ya shabab, over here, for the one who is asking this question, what are the consequences of oppressions of parents to us? There are two cases, ya shabab. Case number one, that, or actually there are three cases here, I'm sorry, three cases. Case number one, they are not oppressive. It is just your imagination and you are the bad boy or you are the bad girl. Not you, they, you're good. So case number one, your parents are good and you are the bad boy or the bad girl and you need to be disciplined. Case number two, your parents are oppressive in the sense that they did not teach you salah. They did not teach you your deen. They did not give you a good name. They did not give you the good advice. Or case number three, ya shabab, where really there are some oppressions from your parents on you. In this case, ya shabab, you want to understand, you are getting old. Do not look at your parents the same way I used to look at my parents when I was young. Your parents, by the end of the day, they are human beings and you are going to be a parent. You are not born from angels. You want to understand, yes, that can happen. You want to understand, ya shabab, appreciate whatever your parents are doing. This is basically, the battery is running low. What did you do? What did you do? How did you make the battery run low? Can I put this over here? فشباب, appreciate whatever your parents are doing. Appreciate whatever your parents are doing. Two, you are real men or real women. You can take care of yourself and you need to seek help from Allah. I want to, shabab, part of the answer of this question. What do you expect? What are the expectations from the parents and what the parents would expect from you, shabab? In the old days, whenever someone would get a son or would get a daughter, do you know what is the impression, shabab? I want to compare. so that you understand the horrible situation we ended up in. In the old days, if I got a son, Alhamdulillah, this son is going to be my helper. If I'm farming in the land, he's going to come and do some of the job. I got a helper. If I got a son or if I got a daughter, I got a helper. Boy, I'm going to use that boy. He is going to be my strength. And the girl is going to be a mercy from Allah to me. This is the impression, ya shabab, in the old days, whenever someone would get a son or get a daughter. I am going to make sure he stays in a Muslim environment. They will grow up. I got a helper. I got a blessing from Allah. They will take care of me. That was in the old days. Nowadays, ya shabab, I got a boy. I have to keep teaching him and paying for his tuition till he's 20-something years old. And I have to take care of his mental health. They get all the mental health problems, they throw it on me, and I need to fix it for him. What is this? Do you see, Shabab, the difference between the old days and now? Can we get back to the old days? The old days, a boy means a helper. A boy is a low maintenance gift from Allah to me. A boy or a girl in the old days is a low maintenance. I would invest by a little bit of food, and I will make sure he goes to the masjid, and he's going to be an amazing boy or she's going to be an amazing girl. And I do not have to worry. I am happy that I got a baby boy or I got a baby girl. My family is growing. I am getting more helpers. This is the old mentality. The right mentality, or sorry, the mentality right now. I got a boy. I need to feed this boy. I need to dress him. I need to buy him a car. I need to take him to college. I need to pay him tuition. I need to buy an iPhone or Samsung S20, whatever for him. This is a lot. You are expecting a lot from your parents, ya shabab. In the old days, whenever we were young, do you want to give the halaqa? In the old days, ya shabab, whenever we were young, it is how we serve our boys do not accept this position at all. If it was a girl, she would sit here for lifetime. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Allah make him the best boy for you. Whenever, ya shabab, we were young, how we serve our parents. Whenever my parents tells me something, I say yes, father, and I go and do whatever he wants to do. Now, Shabab, your expectation, how my parent is going to take care of me, how my parent is going to buy me a phone, how my parents is going to give me a car, how he's going to take me to driving school, how he's going to pay me the tuition. Do you know the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And for academic honesty, there are some weakness in the narration of the hadith. But one of the signs of the day of judgment, يصير المطر قيظا or يصير الشتاء قيظا والولد غيظا. The winter time, it is going to become hot. Global warming. والولد, the children, the kids are going to be a source of frustration. This is, although there are some weakness, but people consider this hadith يعني ايه? Sound. The boy, the old days, the shabab, wallah, I need to change this mentality and go back to the old days. In the old days, the father, I got a boy. It is a low maintenance gift from Allah to me. I do not have to do much. I'm just going to feed him. He goes to school with other kids. He goes to the sheikh with other kids. He's going to be amazing. I'm just going to feed him the minimum. Low maintenance. And he's going to be my helper. This is the old days. And the kids did not expect much from the parents. I am grateful to my father that he's providing a shelter for me and food. But I am a man. I can take care of myself. I can bring the money. I should pay back and support my parents. This is the old mentality. Whenever people are being bored and raised up as useless, my parents, they need to feed me, provide me the clothes. I need brand names. I need iPhone. I need shoes. And I need that. I have some mental problems. Help me. And dads or moms, you are oppressing me. Again, يا شباب, change the culture. It is alhamdulillah that you have parents. Take it on your side. Listen and obey to them. You are the one who needs to be serving them. You never know for how long they are going to be living for you. What do you mean oppression for you? What do you mean that they were oppressive to you? For how many years Allah knows they are going to be alive? They are a source of thawab for you. Then you are going to be on your own. But from time, shabab, from whenever you are young. Now, between you and your parents, appreciate the value of your parents, ya shabab. Forget the oppression. If they say, tell you a tough word, forget it. You are the one who needs to be supporting and taking care of your parents. Do not be useless generation and expecting parents to do everything for you. I told you, ya shabab, that I changed my perspective when I was choking. Every time I have a problem, dad, do something. But then I figured out, really, I'm asking him for too much. I have to take care of myself. I need to ask Allah. And instead of me being burdened on my dad, do something for me, I should be the one who asking my dad, what do you need from me? How can I be of help? I'm trying, Shabab, to change the mentality of the generation, and this is how you really do birr al-walidayn. Is the message clear over here, Shabab? Is the message clear? You are the ones who need to take care of your dads. Do not be expecting how my dads are going to be helping me. Make sense, Shabab? Did I answer this question? And whenever you are dads, Shabab, for sure, whenever you are dads, make sure you take care of your kids. Make sure you teach them the deen. Make sure you punish them whenever they need to be punished. Make sure, Shabab, you are the second hand whenever the sheikh is the first hand, and you bring them closer to each other. Over here, for the second question, because we need to wrap up before Zohar, whenever someone was asking how this generation is horrible, whenever you read the question, Shabab, there is an ayah or this hadith that hits your mind. The hadith, Shabab, that came to my mind over here, typically, indeed, we as human beings, our souls are commanding us to go bad. Our souls are commanding us to go garbage. إِلَّا مَا رَحِمَ رَبِّي, except for those Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would provide mercy for them. This is why, ya shabab, I want to tell you something. If we get our kids and we leave them in the streets, what do you expect this generation is going to be? Whatever this complaint from this generation, I would say it's typical. If you leave the kids interacting with people in that community day and night, they are going to end up being garbage. And those complaints are going to come, Shabab. This is why we are here. This is why we are teaching the people the adab, teaching the people the deen. But really, what can we do with the generation? When I see the kids on a Saturday and then they are playing soccer for 2 months, do you think that we can do anything? Here's the Shabab. I want to address this question from 2 sides. The first side, if you are a leader, and as probably some of you mentioned over here, you need to balance when to be nice to people and when to threaten people. This is a balance. This is a decision that you need to make. This is a decision that you need to make as a leader. But I want to tell you, Shabab, the same thing even that I told you between the sheikh and the parents, this is the same thing between me as a sheikh and the admins. Sometimes one of the boys is doing something wrong and he has to be yelled at. He has to be punished. Is there a risk of losing him forever? Yes. Which is okay. But what can help, ya Shabab, reduce the risk of losing someone? if the admins go, where did he go? Where did he hide? Where did he hide? Where did he go? Okay. So anyway, if for example Hamza, he was not paying attention, he was playing with the one behind him, and I kept yelling at him. And I yelled at him hard, and he deserves to be yelled at. Okay? What are you gonna do, Omar, after I yell at him? What is your job as an admin, Omar?
I tell him he wasn't doing the right thing.
Yes. But you wanna give the message the right way. And you tell him and tell him stories. But make sure he understands he deserves to be yelled at. Make sense? فأجينا يا شباب, this generation is horrible and it is gonna go horrible. You wanna understand يا شباب, Shaitan is building on top of his investment since he went out of Jannah with Adam alayhi salam. And as you can see, the Shaitan is building up and things are gonna get horrible. And even ya shabab, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, whenever he was questioned, when he was questioned by Angel Jibreel, you know the hadith, I told this hadith. When is the hour? What did Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam responded? ما المسؤول عنها بأعلم من السائل. The one who is being questioned have no more knowledge than the one who is asking the question. Basically, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, I don't know when is the hour, when is the day of judgment. Angel Jibreel asked the follow-up question. أخبرني عن أماراتها. So tell me about the signs of the day of judgment. And he sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentioned two signs. The first one, أن تلد الأمة ربتها. What is أن تلد الأمة ربتها? The slave woman would give birth to her mistress. And people interpret this as what? The younger generation is going to be disobedient and disrespectful to the older one. This is from the signs of the day of judgment. And what we are trying here to do, Shabab, is what? Take you out of this. Make sure that you are the ones who are not doing this. So what we need to do, Shabab, over here, teach people more. Ask people to come. Ask people the adab. Adab with the parents. Whatever I'm telling you, you have to be very respectful with your parents. Adab with the sheikh. Adab with everything. Not to say, I'm teaching my daughters how to filter whatever the sheikh is saying. This is the slave woman is giving birth to her mistress. Those girls who are disrespectful to the sheikh today, they're going to be disrespectful to their husbands. They are going to end up being disrespectful to their parents. And this is how the woman herself is giving birth, is teaching her own daughter how her own daughter to treat her as a slave. Now I understand this hadith. Make sense, ya shabab? How to discipline? How to discipline? Wallahi, I remember, and I cannot say anything other than what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the companions said. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for teaching the salah, he said, teach them the salah at the age of 7. وَضْرِبُوهُمْ عَلَيْهَا لِعَشْرٍ. How I translate this, Sheikh Abdullah, to make sure you are happy? Huh? No, you translate it, Sheikh Abdullah. I said it in Arabic. This is what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. Hit them or beat them at the age of 10 if they do not pray, correct? So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam approved it. If you think your kids are at risk and you need to apply the hadith, and if the expense to go to another country, go for it. But this is what he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. In al-Adab al-Mufrad, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, keep the whip hanging for the people in your household. Again, ya shabab, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the most merciful whenever mercy is needed, and he is very strict whenever he needs to be strict. And who is the narrator of the hadith of keep the whip hanging in home? Who is the narrator of this hadith? Ibn Abbas. Ibn Abbas, the narrator of this hadith. Sounds good? Whenever Umar ibn al-Khattab, he used to be walking in the market with a dirra. What is a dirra? Small whip. He used to go and discipline people with it. But how we discipline? Whatever it takes. For sure, ya shabab, we want to understand people in this country, they started to make the law, do not beat anyone or do not hit anyone physically, because people in this country, they are garbage. They go drink, they go back home drunk, and they start beating up and they go. And I was telling Sheikh Junaid, I was telling him, I remember my teacher, she gave me 10 sticks, so that or 4 or 5, depends what I have done. And I have never lost respect. And yes, you can see some kind of red marks or whatever. And I listen. After I get the sticks, I shut up and I keep listening and I learn. And Sheikh Junaid keeps telling me, but here in the hospital, people come with broken ribs. Habibi, this is not what I'm talking to you about. You are going far away. I'm telling you, my teacher used sticks and I would listen and I still love my teacher, wallah. And I value what she did to me. She did not break my ribs, okay? She did not take my eye out. I'm talking about a level and he's talking about a different level. But I'm not talking that it has to be with the siwak only. This is something else. Yes, Amira. Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Pass the microphone.
Obviously, like you said, there's a moderate amount of methods that you should use on a person. But what I've noticed personally is that, as said by the anonymous person in the asking question, like lots of different methods can be used at different times on a person, but it still sometimes doesn't work or things like that. And I've also noticed that a lot of the time, even if you try to like be nice at certain times, be hard at certain times, they only pay attention to the times you're hard. You know, they're like, even if you like
Be hard.
Yeah, be hard, but sometimes that just pushes the girl away from him, or that pushes, like if you're trying to discipline a boy because he's got a
Good point.
away, like how do you, like you said, like there's two hands, one is the shift.
Yes.
But how can you put that in the category of somebody just trying to discipline that?
Very good point. And actually here, you want to understand, are you talking parents to their kids or admins to Tamkeeners? Things are going to be different over here, okay? Parents to their kids, one of the major advices, Amira, you start from an early age. From an early age, you teach them the discipline, you teach them the punishment, even the corner time, even you cannot do this, even how to give them a hard face. Even you say you are not going to do this and you are not going to do this. But the most valuable raising up method, the Amira, for raising up the kids is you punish them, and after they are done with the punishment, you start talking to them nicely and gently and educating them why they are punished. Make sense? After they see how tough you are and you have to be tough and firm, after they are done, you try to be nice to them. And when you are nice to them, you teach them the same way. I want you to be happy in dunya. I want you to be happy in the hereafter. This is why I punished you, so that you pray. And the same way you are happy in dunya, you are happy in the hereafter. And this is what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the companion did this. You see the point? So punishment, you start with punishment. And then be nice, educate them. Same thing over here, whenever the admins have to work together. Whenever an admin is tough and she would yell as one of the girls, another admin needs to run as the girl that was yelled at. Be nice at her and educate her why she was yelled at. By yourself, you cannot do much. By yourself, you may not be able to do much. And even this is, Amira, the same between you and your future husband as well. Usually the dad is gonna punish, and you as a mom, you can be a smart mom or you can be an idiot mom. Idiot mom, let me start with the idiot mom. He was punished by his dad. What happened to you, Habibi? Your dad did this to you? I know your dad. This is how your dad. Sorry, Habibi, you will be fine. Your dad is like this all the time. And you keep blaming what? The dad, and the dad, you show the dad as bad. This is an idiot mom. If you are a smart mom and you are working, come here back, and you are working hand with the dad will punish. And the mom will come and say, yeah, your dad punished you. By the way, your dad did the right thing. This is for your own benefit. Can you make sure that you do not do this again? Do you know if you do this, what will happen to you? Do you understand? Let me teach you why this is bad. And after you are done, you need to go and say, I'm sorry to your dad. You see the difference? You see how people work together? Usually one person cannot do much. The sheikh cannot do much whenever he yells at people unexpected. Sometimes the sheikh is taking people against their desires and he has to be tough. The parents have to educate the kids. The sheikh is doing this for your benefit. Between the admins, the same thing needs to happen. Between the mom and the dad. You are going to be an idiot mom whenever your son or daughter coming crying to you and you say, oh, sorry, Habibi, I know your dad. Your dad is always tough. Do not worry. Ignore your dad. You will be fine. This is an idiot mom. But a good mom, your dad is right. See why he punished you? This is what those are the consequences if you go bad. Do you understand? Promise we'll never do this again. We are not done yet. Go and say, I'm sorry to your dad and confirm to him that this will never happen again. And if you do this from a young age, it will work, inshallah. If you wait till your kids grow up, it's over. Same thing here in Tamkeen. All the admins, they need to work together. If the sheikh yells at someone, the admins need to follow up. Tell the one who is yelled at why he was yelled at and convince him not to do this again and go back to the sheikh. Tamam? Sounds good? And the punishment, ya shabab, here you are in a country that is real. Do you know the article of the right to be beaten up? You are in a country that is taking the rights out of people. According to what I know from the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the companions, may Allah be pleased with them, sometimes whenever it was needed to punish, they used to punish. Umar ibn al-Khattab is known for what? Ad-dirra. Yes. We are going to all go use the bathroom and what we'll do right now. Sounds good, Shabab? Go ahead. Someone. Again, Shabab, those two questions are very important. How to deal with your parents, how to deal with your future kids. What are the expectations? Please do not be another useless generation. I need my dad to give me this. I need my dad to give me that. Where is the iPhone, Dad? Can you give me a lesson to learn how to drive? Could you please buy me a car? Could you please pay me the tuition? You are putting so much expectation. Culture has shifted in the old days. Alhamdulillah, I appreciate that just my dad is providing shelter and feeding me, and I would satisfy all the orders of my dad to me. Now you want to even your dads to be taking care of your mental health. Have mercy, Shabab, on your parents. Make sure. Many times I tell some of the Tamkeeners, whenever they come to be annoying to me, there are some of the boys who just say, Sheikh, 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 to try their voice. Sheikh, 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 to try their voice. Or keep asking questions. Many times I'm telling them, whenever I reach my limit, please be low maintenance. Wait till I tell you what to do. Wait till an admin gives you an instruction. Be real, many Shabab. Do not say, my parents are such and such. You are the one. As you are growing older, Allah put it on your shoulder to take care of your parents. Sounds good, Shabab? Makes sense? Right. Let me stop over here, inshallah, Shabab. After the salah, we may give you instruction for what the boys are going to be doing and what the girls. But we want to call the adhan, pray the sunnah before it is the time for the salah, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khayra. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك يا الله شباب. Someone that called the adhan. يا الله جزاكم الله خير. Those who are on Zoom, wish you were here with us physically. السلام عليكم.
السلام عليكم.
السلام